Calaroga Shark Media.
Hi there, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. You've heard of Escape from Alcatraz. How about Escape to Alcatraz? And what if I told you it wasn't a person escaping to Alcatraz? It was a coyote. That's right, a coyote was captured on video. Somehow on Alcatraz Island, the only way it could have gotten there was by taking one of the ferries, and maybe somebody would have noticed, or by swimming there. And sure enough, there is footage showing the coyote swimming ashore and climbing onto the Alcatraz shoreline. The park rangers were alerted they could not find said coyote. It is possible the coyote swam back, or it might be somewhere on the island. Janet is an amateur naturalist who has studied coyote behavior and says the animal could survive on Alcatraz, at least for a short period, because the island offers food sources and puddles of fresh water that could sustain the coyote. Janet told KPIX-TV the best thing to do is leave the coyote alone, because this is it doing what it does best, which apparently is swim to Alcatraz. A class ring had been missing for decades. It was returned to a Nebraska family after it was discovered buried on the beach of New Jersey by a metal detector enthusiast. Andrew was doing his thing in Belmar and found a ring. All we knew about the ring were the initials BW. He dug deep, and somehow from BW that led them to Crete High School in Nebraska. Andrew contacted the Crete Public Library. They worked with the Crete Public Schools Foundation to trace the initials. They figured out BW is Barbara Wilage, class of 66. Barbara's sister Sandy said, "We still have no idea how the ring got there." Again, Nebraska and Belmar, New Jersey are not close to each other. Barbara's sister said Barbara lived in Boston for a while, but how it got to New Jersey, who knows? Anyway, the ring is back. Good news for the Bide a While Animal Shelter in Nova Scotia. You know how many animals they had recently? None. Sam is the shelter's communication and marketing coordinator and told the CTV, "It's crazy to say, but today we actually have no one available for adoption. Everyone is either adopted or waiting for their vet health certificate." That's fantastic. Sam said last year around this time, adult cats, senior cats, or cats with medical complications were staying in the shelter a little bit longer than your average kitten, but this year we're not even seeing that. Over the past 12 months, the shelter placed 500 pets, averaging 41 adoptions per month. That is awesome. Would love to hear more stories like that. Now let me tell you about Lois. Like many Midwestern families, Lois held on to an old sauerkraut crock for decades. It sat on the porch for 40 years out there in the winter, and then 90-year-old Lois started preparing for a yard sale. She thought maybe she'd get $100 for the crock. She contacted Ken the auctioneer. Now, coincidentally, Ken the auctioneer was already preparing for a major stoneware auction featuring dozens of antique Red Wing Crocks. Ken the auctioneer took a look. He noted the molded handles and the butterfly design. He immediately recognized it as exceptionally rare. Again, Lois was hoping for $100. Ken the auctioneer said, "I think you're going to be surprised." On Lois's 91st birthday, they auctioned this thing off. $32,000. You see, according to redwingcollectors.org, only about 20% of Red Wing salt glazed places were signed on the side, making such examples highly sought after. The Crocks were produced in Red Wing, Minnesota from the late 1870s until about 1900. Happy birthday, Lois. And in Suffolk County, New York, the police have responded to an alarm at the bank. They did catch the suspect. The suspect was a deer that had crashed through a window. The Suffolk County PD said officers were summoned to Webster Bank and Ridge. When the alarm went off, they arrived to find that a buck had crashed through a window and became trapped inside, and the buck made a mess. The police were able to lasso the deer and lead it outside. It was returned to the wild. On social media, the Suffolk County PD posted, and I kind of love this, "We think the buck was looking for bucks." Now, that's a good one. That reminds me, I host a podcast. It's called Daily Comedy News. So if you like the jokes, check out Daily Comedy News 7 days a week. Wherever you found this show, you'll find that one. And those are your 5 good news stories for today. Have an awesome day.